Paul, I'd say you're real old school when it comes to disciplining children, but would you discipline your children in public, or have you ever actually disciplined them in public?
I discipline anybody's children in public.
Oh, Jesus. Would you
I'd be looking for children to discipline. I'd be on a mission.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it is a big thing now, isn't it? Like, I mean, with the tools, the guidelines that we have here in Ireland for child protection and all of that, and what's appropriate discipline and what isn't, and I mean, they don't even like you using the word discipline now here.
Oh, really?
You know,
Is it politically incorrect to discipline?
Yeah.
How are your children ever meant to learn?
That.
I mean, if you don't discipline them. Like,
By modelling good behaviour.
I'll go away. I get
softly.
very irritated by parents who don't take responsibility for their kids. It's a pet hate of mine, a peeve of mine.
Yeah.
And I was on holidays recently, and I'm on the beach, and these lazy parents come down and they literally just plonk themselves in the sand, and the kids are running amok.
Yeah.
And every so often they're kind of looking up, stop doing that, please.
Kicking sand in your face.
Running around, kicking, people trying to read, people trying, and nobody else's kids were doing it.
Yeah.
And they're running in and out of, and people are kind of looking, when are they going to actually get up and restrain their kids and say, hold on a minute, you're not listening to me, I need to take this up a level, I need to actually physically tell you, come back here and sit here and stop annoying people.
Yeah.
But they never did that, and they spoiled everybody else's day.
Yeah, that's dreadful, isn't it? It's very annoying.
It is.
Yeah.
And the parents didn't see a problem with it.
I would say that a lot of parents these days are disassociated from their children's behaviour.
Lazy gits.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? They're probably up to their eyeballs trying to get a child to manage school and everything. So when they go on holidays, the last thing they want to do is fight with their kids. So they do lazily just lie there. Now we can call it lazy, or we can call it just overwhelmed. It's too much
lazy
for them.
I
Do you think so?
I think they're the same whether they're on holidays or whether they're at home. I think they're
Really?
the same. I think they're just too lazy, and I think they're probably a generation too. I'm showing my age here, that they weren't necessarily disciplined when they were kids either, because the discipline that I got, I don't know about you in school, you got a clip around the ear from the teacher.
Yeah.
And if you told that when you went home, you got another clip around the ear from your parents for getting a clip around the ear in the first place. You were battered around, and then there's a priest called, he'd probably give you a clip around the ear as well.
Jesus,
It kind of was like
Mary and
tennis,
Fable,
over and back the whole week.
God.
But that was part of the course. And I think that when you look, whatever about physically giving your child a tap or a smack, I think you get their attention. I'm not advocating, beating kids up. I'm not advocating that at all. But I am advocating that sometimes when the verbal thing doesn't work, or that it's not having an effect, you need to physically go over and take responsibility. You need to be the parent.
Yeah.
Pleading with your kids.
I don't think that really works, to be honest. I mean, there has to be a certain air of authority, doesn't there?
There has to be.
But distraction, I was always good at distracting the children, especially when they were throwing a tantrum. I'd say, oh, look at this, I'd distract them with something else.
Here, have another drink.
Like recently there was that shocking. There was, here's your bottle, shove it in their mouth.
Yeah.
Get them to be quiet. But definitely, like last week now, there was a viral video over here of a disgusted bride who had the look of disgust and disdain on her face because somebody's child was running around the place screaming and crying and
wedding,
ruining her wedding.
In the church, was it?
In the church, yeah. Like, to me, I don't understand why a parent wouldn't get up and take their child
Wouldn't
out.
hop on and say, hold on a minute, this is ruining, this is the one.
I remember my sister's kid doing that at my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And I remember his wife didn't like it. She was annoyed because at the end of the day, it's her day. Do you know what I mean? It's all about the bride, really, isn't it? And I suppose...
And what if somebody else had intervened and taken the kid outside? Would the parent feel offended?
Well, my sister certainly would have, because I remember that same child was, punching her into the face one day in our house.
Yeah, there you go. Should kids discipline their parents?
And, well, I think that's another side of it, isn't it? But yeah, and my sister-in-law grabbed her hand and said, don't you hit your mammy.
Yeah.
And my sister just turned around, cool as a breeze, and says, thank you, Teresa Rose, I'll discipline my own child. She just cut the socks off her. But she wasn't disciplining her at all. She was just kind of ignoring it.
I'm going to get dragged over the coals for this, but it's not unusual for that. But I'm going to say it anyway, because a lot of you out there are thinking the same thing. When somebody is hysterical, you kind of say, calm down. But the old kind of thing, and suddenly it's kind of got to stop. It's the shock.
Yeah.
Of it. So the words haven't been able to get through because they're hysterical, but the physical thing, it kind of, hey, you're not, kind of, it just slap. And they snap out of it.
Well, you can splash water in somebody's face
There
as
is,
well,
but it's
Paul.
something to
You
shock.
don't have to hit them.
If you don't have water, or
And
if you have a glass bottle, and no.
Oh my God.
So with
Pint glass.
so
why not?
with a child, sometimes when you're saying, please stop doing that, please, you're wrecking this, you're pulling down the TV, you're ripping the wallpaper off the walls, you're painting jam all over your uncle. Stop, please.
Ew.
They need to be kind of stop doing that.
Yeah.
And you need to maybe give them a tap on the bottom or something like that, or kind of just an abrupt intervention that shocks them out of their behaviour, and they learn immediately that that's not okay. And this is the other thing too, that I think if a child is misbehaving in public, there's no point afterwards when you get home saying, remember, earlier on today when we were in town and when you were doing that, and when
well, it's already too late.
It's too late.
Before you go to town, you have to say, now we're going into the shop. I used to have to do this with my children when they were small, when they were toddlers, like they were only little. I used to have to sit down and say, now we're going to the shop today to do the shopping, okay? And it's important so we have food at home. If you misbehave, I am going to take you out to the car and we're going to sit there for 5 minutes until you calm down.
I thought you were going to lock you in the boot until I come out with the shopping.
So they knew that they were not going to be allowed to stay in the shop if they misbehaved.
Yeah.
So if they start throwing themselves down on the ground, for the most part, I just say to them as well, I'd warn them beforehand that I am going to ignore you if you behave like that.
Yeah.
And then I'd remind them of that in the moment when they're starting to behave like that. Say, I already explained that I'm going to ignore you if you behave like that, and I'd turn my back on them and look up at the ceiling, and then they would calm down.
Yeah.
So there are other tactics. Now that's not going to work for everybody's child. It happened to work for mine.
But children do need to learn discipline, and they need to learn coping skills.
Yeah, and I think parents do too.
Parents do as well. So there's two of them in it.
Because lashing out at the child is not going to help the situation.
No, and
it's
I'm not
going to
advocating
escalate
that.
it.
I'm having a bit of a joke here when I'm talking about stuff. But I am advocating that, that somebody once said that, as a parent, you're not your child's friend, you're their parent.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. And I've come across it so many times where the parents are almost asking permission of the kids. Do you mind if we go into town today and it would be okay with that if we Like, that's totally at odds with the way I was brought up. It was, get into the car quick. It doesn't matter if you're half, just get in.
I've seen a TikTok actually that was hilarious, Paul. You would have loved it. It was this guy, he was doing a take on the American mom and the Irish mom.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, getting up for school in the morning. So the American mom is, it's getting really late. I wonder, is Johnny going to get up? And she goes up the stairs. She said, Johnny, do you feel like getting up? I've got your breakfast on the table. I've got everything ready for you and blah, blah, blah. And then he said, no, get out. And whatever. But then the Irish mom, get the fuck up out of that bed. I tell you, I'll fucking kill you. Just a completely different scenario. All together. And roaring up the stairs at him. Get out of that bed.
You learn to respect your parents, you see. Even if it was out of fear, you learn to respect your parents. I think a lot of kids don't respect their parents. Because and you see it, you know it. Like, if the child is not paying the slightest bit of attention to the parent's reprimand, that child is undisciplined. And parent, that's your fault.
Oh, again, I think the whole respect thing, you're losing it, Paul. There has to be equal respect, definitely. Because they're still little people. Just because they're children.
Let us know what you think.
Yep, let us know.
Don't be afraid
Paul wants
to say.
To shut me up now.
Don't be afraid to say in the comments. She needs to be disciplined.
No.
Talk to you soon.